I am no longer working for or serving Hecate, and I want to talk.
So let's get into this. I want to ask you all, if you see my video, to go back and watch this woman's video that I'm stitching. And then I want to talk to anyone who sees this video about spiritual psychosis, as well as the duality of working with energies, because ultimately working with any deities is working with energy. You're really working with the energetic expression of that deity. Hecate is a dark feminine goddess. She is the keeper of the gates. She takes you into the shadows. She lives in the liminal spaces. She is the one who helps to light the pathway during your times of transition in life, whether you are literally transitioning from your physical life into a physical death or a reincarnation of who you are today, a transformation, a change, a growth, a development. This creator, I'm really trying to find the right way to say this. I listened to her video, and then I actually went and I scrolled through some of her other videos on her page because I wanted to see what was the content that she was sharing about Hecate. Many of you know that I venerate the divine feminine, that I work with several divine dark goddesses. At no point have I ever channeled a message and said, this goddess is calling you, that goddess is calling you. I think that we should be really, really careful about telling people when an energy is calling out to them, rather that we should allow people to be called to that energy and or to call out to that energy on their own. And so I stay clear of trying to tell people who they should work with and or who they should venerate. I don't really get into that. And as of lately, there have been a few folks in some of my videos asking about working with the goddesses. So I simply shared a little bit about my path, not so much about me instructing you on how you should or could work with the goddesses. I also want to go ahead and insert a caveat here, because working with the divine feminine dark goddesses is taking you into the inner recesses of yourself. It is taking you into your own subconscious. It is taking you into those spaces that you need to explore. It is helping you to dig a little deeper into the spaces of yourself and of your life, of your subconscious, where you might need to do some healing. And so if you are guided with and or walking alongside a divine deity, who, especially a feminine deity like Hecate, and you then say, oh, you know, it got really dark. Did you really research her? I don't think that she had done a lot of research about Hecate, because when you listen to her video, she says that she learned about Hecate and that she had trusted this group of people. And again, I always tell you to trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. That's why I recommend, for like, if I ever had to give someone a process step, I have said to several folks, I didn't start my spiritual journey doing shadow work because I wasn't strong enough to do shadow work at the beginning of my spiritual journey. If you go into the shadows and you go running into the shadows because people are telling you that, a group of folks that you are connecting to are telling you that could be very dangerous. And perhaps that's what she experienced, because she also said that she was channeling messages from Hecate, and she'd only worked with Hecate for 2 months. And, you know, working with the divine feminine energies, it's a relationship. You got to go slow with them. It's a courting, right? 2 months and you're channeling and you're like giving guidance to other people for the call. I think she might have jumped the gun. You know, I hope that she gets better, because what we see playing out here is the proverbial Doreen virtue, where you go into the shadows, you go into the dark spaces, and then you see these things that you need to go and heal. And instead of you recognizing that the dark spaces are those places when you meet those shadows, those are aspects of yourself that require healing. And instead of you recognizing them as another part of you, another aspect of you, you demonize it. And then you come back and then you say, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I need to run back to Jesus. It's the typical retreat to the love and light. Christ consciousness is a journey. It is a journey through your awareness. When you are walking a spiritual path, you will go through several awakenings. You will not awaken just once. You will awaken and reawaken and reawaken if you continue to do your healing work. Otherwise, you could stay at that same level. But as you continue to ascend and grow and go in and out of the shadows, because you can't live in the shadows, you can't live in the dark spaces, you do have to come out and balance that with the light. I walk a middle path. So I go into the shadows as I need to. And I'm at the point of my life where I know when I need to go into the shadows, because your life outwardly starts reflecting some stuff. And you're like, you know what? I wonder if there's something in the shadows that I'm ignoring or that I'm not aware of, or that I might not, I might be shutting it out. Where do I need to go and find that aspect of me, find that experience within me that I had, and love it and heal it and integrate it. That's the whole purpose of doing the shadow work. It's not to go there to find your quote unquote demons, to slay them, to kill them. You need them. They're aspects of you. You don't want to go in and slay your part of yourself that rises up when you're angry, right? You might need to go in and find a way to help subdue that part of yourself if it is enraged to the point of destruction. But you need anger. It's a healthy part of you when it's controlled. And so when I saw her video, I thought to myself, wow, this sounds so familiar, because it tends to happen a lot in spaces where spiritualists, it happens a lot in the New Age community, where they want to play with the dark energies. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't play with any deities or energies for that matter, because staying in the light too long is also not healthy for you. You have to balance it. Duality. You think Christ was in his light when he flipped those tables? He was not. He was operating in his shadow. He had the anger that rised up inside of him so that he could go in and do his business using that aspect of himself. And so I would say to you, anyone who has normally followed my content, you'll see that I periodically talk about, look at my little headscarf, just sliding back and sliding back. I'm waiting for my other bonnet to dry. Anywho, I talk about walking the middle path, and I talk about balancing the light and the dark. I talk about trusting and knowing yourself, having a relationship with your higher self. Because if you don't even know yourself and you don't trust yourself, you shouldn't be working with any other energies outside of yourself. Because ultimately, the energies of the deities are embodiments that you take on. And if you're not strong enough and you don't have enough of a solid relationship with your own self, if you don't trust your own higher self to keep you safe, then you shouldn't be walking and venerating and working with any energies outside of yourself, whether they are light or dark. And let's stop demonizing the dark spaces. Let's leave that. When this app goes dark, leave the demonization of the dark deities in that space too. Stop that shit. It doesn't serve any of us well. Blessed be witches.